Going? Okay. All right, we'd like to welcome you all to our Riverdale City Council meeting for Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Please let the record show that all members of the City Council are present, as well as the city staff and members of the public. We've asked Chief Shawley to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
Repeat the Pledge of Allegiance after me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief Shawley. We have asked Councilor Hanson if she would offer our invocation.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this opportunity to meet together as a council. Help us, Father, in this meeting that we may seek to be guided in the decisions that we make, that we can maintain a good decorum and relationship with each other. We're grateful for our city. We're grateful for our residents and especially for our employees. And please keep them safe as they fulfill their duties and that they may return home to their families. We're grateful for the many blessings that we have, and we pray for thy assistance in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilor Hanson. We'll now move on to the public comment portion of our meeting. This is an opportunity to address the City Council with any concerns or ideas. No action will be taken during the public comments section. Please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes and state the city that you reside in if you do approach the mic. Seeing none, we'll move on to presentations and reports. For the mayor's report, I do not have anything for this meeting. For city council assignment reports, anybody have anything from their assignments? Okay. And then the third item, the UDOT 5600 South construction update was canceled for tonight. So we'll move on to consent items. Consideration to approve the 2025 Riverdale City Council meeting schedule. Is there any questions or comments on that meeting schedule? Seeing none, a motion to approve. Councilor Arnold.
motion to approve the 2024 Riverdale City Council meeting schedule is stated within the packet.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Want to include that one amendment on that?
And move the November meeting election.
So we just amend it later because
We can. If you wanted to do it now, that's fine too. I don't care.
I don't think it's a big deal because we have mail-in ballots. I mean, people can vote in person, but
If you want to pass it, it sixes to me. It's just you brought it up, so because we can always change it.
And I just had a question about it. I mean, it doesn't bother me anymore because the mail-in ballots,
Yeah.
So, okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. We'll move on to action items. Number 1, consideration to approve a new local consent for on-premises beer license at Shake Shack, LLC, to be located at 4142 Riverdale Road, Riverdale, Utah. Ms. Maragoni.
Again, this was just the same application that was for the last meeting with some more information as far as the general manager. If you have any questions.
Do you guys have any questions for Ms. Maragoni on this? Councilor Arnold?
move to approve a new local consent for the on-premises beer license for Shake Shack, Utah, LLC, as stated within the packet, with the exception that they get the third, reference? Yeah, reference, and the signatures required by the documents.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Counselor Hanson?
Yes.
Counselor Hilton?
Yes.
Counselor Merrill?
Yes.
Counselor Stevens?
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Very good. We'll move on to item number 2, consideration to approve a local consent for off-premises beer license for Gas Stop Riverdale, LLC, located at 686 West Riverdale Road in Riverdale. Ms. Maragoni.
This one is just a new ownership for the Sinclair at 686 West Riverdale Road. They will take over January 1st.
Any questions or comments on this one? Councilor Arnold.
Move to approve a local consent for off-premises beer license for Gas Stop Riverdale LLC as stated within the packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Morrow?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Counselor Stevens?
Yes.
Counselor Hanson?
Yes.
Counselor Hilton?
Yes.
We have the owners here, Mayor. We may want to welcome them to Riverdale.
Yes,
and wish them well in
absolutely.
their business. So
Yeah. Do you want to come up to the microphone and say a couple of words? So you don't have to, but we'd love to hear from you. We do welcome you to Riverdale. We're excited for you. Got a great gas station there. Make sure the microphone's on. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so we are here for the gas stop Riverdale LLC. We are buying the across the street this Sinclair, and so my brother and I, we are from India. We moved here 20 years ago, and we own 16 gas stations, and this one will be part of the 5 stores that we are buying recently, and we already in a local community around here. We have stores in Ogden, and we will be buying one in the South Ogden too. So thank you for all your help. This one will be one of our new additions, so we love to grow in Utah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a question. Are you going to make any changes? I was just curious. I don't know.
Changes in such like brand, no. There will be some improvement, like if structurally or inside. We are keeping the same employees and most of the management. So most of things, customers will not see much changes other than any inside structural needed.
Okay. Very good. Well, welcome.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
very happy to have you here. So,
Thank you.
okay. Item number 3A, consideration of ordinance 975, approval for the Ken Garf Riverdale amended small subdivision request. This is located at 950 West Riverdale Road, Riverdale, Utah, as requested by Kimley Horn and the Ken Garf Automotive Group. Mr. Eggett.
Thank you. I'll be very brief on this. Chris Bick is here representing their interest on this project. It did the amended subdivision plat came before the Planning Commission on August 8th. It was recommended for approval with the resolution of staff and engineering concerns. Those have since been resolved, as you see in the packet with the recommendations from city staff for the site. And the I guess all the supporting documentation is found in your packet. The only thing I would note, as noted in the work session, is those 2 clauses in ordinance number 975 being amended as noted in work session. And with that, unless there's any questions about the subdivision proper, I defer to the council. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Eggett or Mr. Bick? Seeing none, Councilor Arnold.
Move to approve ordinance number 975 as stated within the packet with the changes that Mr. Eggett has pointed out.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Stevens?
Yes.
Counselor Hanson?
Yes.
Counselor Hilton?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Counselor Morrow?
Yes.
All right, very good. That passes unanimously. We'll move on to the second part of this action item, 3B, consideration of approval for Ken Garf Honda amended site plan request located at approximately 950 West Riverdale Road, as requested by Kimley Horn and Ken Garf. Mr. Eggett.
Thank you. The only thing I would add to this is that the amended site plan was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission on September 12th. This also did go before the Design Review Committee and received approval from the Design Review Committee. And the engineering's cost estimate has been recommended for approval by our city engineers found in the packet, and that includes the 10% security requirement. So with that, I would defer to the council unless you have any other questions for me or Mr. Bick. Thank you.
I did have one comment. Well, actually, we'll let the council have any questions or comments first. Okay. Did you want to say anything?
Only if you had a question.
Well, I just wanted to, if you could pass on to them our gratitude. Anytime a business, does a major upgrade or invest significant money into renewing their business, we appreciate that. that business has been there for a little while, and I think it's going to look really nice what they're going to do. You've got a beautiful piece of property there on Riverdale Road, and it's just going to look really nice out front there and update the whole look of it. And so we appreciate them, feeling like it's a worthwhile investment to put that money into their business in Riverdale. So thanks. Councilor Stevens.
If you would, please.
Yeah, come on up to the mic and just state your name if you would.
Chris Bick, I reside in Saratoga Springs, Utah.
With, you're the engineering group?
Yes.
Okay. The design and whatnot, was that somewhat influenced by corporate Honda to do that? Was that a...
Yeah. Most of the face of it was corporate Honda, and then when they were doing that, Garf was like wanted to improve the storm and the paving that was around it, and add some decorative cosmetics as well. So it was kind of, while we're doing the facelift, let's update the rest of the site around this property as well. So it was kind of a mutual agreement there, but driven by Honda's requirements for that initially. Yeah.
And does Honda require being on a separate lot from other dealerships, or is that, do you get into that?
They don't require to be on the separate lot. However, with this plat, we worked with the city staff, decided it would be a little more clear since there were already 2 lots that kind of went over that property. And so with the city and Garf, they decided it made more sense to update the plat to make that property line divide between the two.
That's kind of where I was wondering what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate your presentation and
you.
and I know that with car dealerships, I love car dealerships in our city, and they stipulate a lot of requirements to have a dealership, and sometimes they can be almost overbearing a little bit sometimes. But
Yeah.
I was just curious. But
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep, this was a fun site, and appreciate the staff for working with us on it. It was great being here and working with Riverdale. So, thanks.
All right, with that, a motion, Councilor Arnold.
Move to approve the Ken Garf Honda amended site plan as stated within the packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Marconi, will you please poll the council?
Did we make that in that?
Councilor
I
Stevens?
wasn't even paying
Yes.
Counselor Hanson?
Yes.
Counselor Hilton?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Counselor Merrill?
Yes.
All right, that passes unanimously as well. Thank you. And once again, we're excited to see that. I think it's going to look great. Thank you. All right, number 4, consideration of resolution 2023-34, approving an interlocal agreement between Riverdale City and Weber County concerning the use of the county transfer station. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. Basically, what this is just an agreement between the city stating that we will, with us and the county, that we will use their transfer station to haul our garbage to. As I mentioned in a pre-planning meeting, I've talked to both the county and to our provider. Whether it's us directly or whether it's our provider, we're committing to this. And it's a 1-year contract, but we can always get out of this. And then after that, there's 2-year renewals, but we can get out of it. That was the main thing that I checked on. I was concerned about. And Steve Robinson's fine with it. He already hauls there. The one reason we would look at that maybe is just cost in the future, but there are no other options at this point, and it would take them at least a year to get up and running. So this doesn't really hurt us or affect us in any way. So I would recommend you pass this.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Brooks? Okay. Councilor Arnold.
Move to approve resolution 2023-34 as stated within the packet.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Hilton?
Yes.
Counselor Merrill?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Counselor Stevens?
Yes.
Counselor Hanson?
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. We'll go to number 5, consideration of resolution 2023-35, adopting the interlocal cooperation agreement for paramedic aboard charges. Chief Shawley.
And thank you. I misspoke in the work session. It's a 5-year agreement, not a 2-year. I had that flipped with another agreement. There's only a few of them. So it is a 5-year agreement. So this is just our agreement that allows paramedics to ride aboard with us and sets the fees in which we pay for them to ride to the hospital and treat our patients.
Any questions for the chief on this? Anyone want to make a motion? Counselor Arnold.
Move to approve Resolution 2023-35 as stated within the packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All right, Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Hanson,
Yes.
Counselor Merrill,
Yes.
Counselor Arnold,
Yes.
Counselor Hilton,
Yes.
Counselor Stevens.
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. We'll move on to number 6, consideration of Resolution 2023-36, requesting the recertification of the Riverdale City Justice Court. Mr. Brooks.
Every 4 years, we're required by the state to recertify our court. They do want us to sit down and evaluate everything we're doing and making sure we're complying with all their requirements. We have done that. Both myself and the judge have gone through everything, and we are in compliance. We have been in compliance. The only difference from 4 years ago is, as I mentioned previously, is we did include a security plan with this one that we didn't last time. But we're required to have that anyway. We've got that somewhere. It's just nobody knows where it's at. So there is a new one in there. I doubt it would reflect what the old one is, but it does meet what we need to, and it's what we're doing. So I would recommend approval on this one as well.
Okay, Counselor
And
Arnold.
again, you said with the security plan that we
Yes.
don't know where it's at.
No, there is one included in your packet.
Okay.
So we will use that one, not the
Okay.
old one. 4 years ago, I recommended approval with the plan that they supposedly had on file, and I reached out to, that's one of the reasons why I talked to Jim Peters, was they should have it on file, and I asked him for it, and I haven't seen it yet. So rather than wait, I just moved forward and put a new one in there. So we'll use that one. It doesn't matter. It helps us, and it meets our certification. And this has got to be submitted, I think, by the 15th or something, so I can't wait. I've got to go tonight.
Okay.
Counselor Merrill.
Move to approve Resolution 2023-36, requesting the recertification of the Riverdale City Justice Court.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the council?
Counselor Arnold,
Yes.
Counselor Stevens,
Yes.
Counselor Hanson,
Yes.
Counselor Merrill,
Yes.
Counselor Hilton.
Yes.
All right, that passes unanimously as well. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 7, consideration of Resolution 2023-37, amending the 2023-2024 consolidated fee schedule. Rich Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. A couple of years ago, we changed our daily fee over at the community center, and that led to an increase of our monthly pass sales. We're looking for creative ways and different ways to make more revenue over there. What we noticed this year with our month pass sales is we sold a lot more month passes this calendar year than we had in the past. Our customers who purchased the month passes purchased an average of 2.6 month passes. And so we were trying to figure out creative ideas of how to increase our revenue. I came up with an idea to offer a discounted annual pass for the month of January. And the hope is that a lot of our month pass users would convert to annual passes, which would increase our revenue. Even if we sold them at a discounted rate, we would make more money per customer. And the revenue that we had on our month passes last year was about $5,500. And if every single one of those month pass users converted over to an annual pass, with the discount, we would still make about $11,000. I recognize not everybody's going to convert over. And hopefully the ones that don't would still buy their 2.6 month passes with us. But anyway, I wanted to present this to you for your consideration tonight. And you'll also notice on that fee schedule, I did a update on our senior lunch fee. We are currently charging $4. We approved that in our budget. We just didn't get an update on our fee schedule. But if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Counselor Stevens?
Yeah. Just curious. I patronize the facility. At least one back room with one particular exercise piece of equipment. But what's the demographics of people? Is it the pickleballers, the basketballers? Who are the monthly people that you're targeting? What's their demographics? What's their usage in the gym?
Yeah, I can answer that question anecdotally.
Okay, please.
I don't have their demographics in front of me. I do have like a resident, non-resident breakdown. And then I also have a senior breakdown. We sold last year, just looking at these numbers and doing some quick math, out of the 500 month passes that we sold, 340 of them, so a majority of them, were to seniors. So that would probably be your pickleball demographic, although a lot of those seniors patronize exercise room as well. And out of those 340 month passes that we sold to seniors, 270 were non-resident seniors. And then with our other month passes, we had family passes and individual passes. And I don't know if they're basketball players or, some of our pickleball players are not seniors. So, but I do have that demographic breakdown by seniors.
Yeah, because of my work schedule, I sometimes go through at various times during the day. So I like how you redid the floor last year, and so you could have 4 pickleball courts instead of just the 3. Very nice. And I'm assuming you got good feedback on that, because during the winter months, that place is hopping.
Yeah, it really helped with our revenue to add a senior fee. We weren't charging seniors for the longest time, and it's a nominal fee, but it adds up.
Yeah, I know a couple of the people who are seniors, and the guy had his card on a ring on his backpack, and he swiped, he just scans it. But he had 2 others, a place in Layton and maybe the complex. But this guy's a serious pickleball player, and he showed me the little cards, and I looked at some of the other people who had left their backpacks or whatever, and most of those people have multiple cards, not just to our facility but to other facilities, because this is an activity that they, and so I think this is a great idea for you.
Yeah, the building is a little over 20 years old, and the uses over the last 20 years have changed. We can't change the size of the gym, but we're trying to, do a different layout with pickleball courts and some of these fee structures and things. We're just trying to adapt and see what works.
So just a quick question about the fees. So the seniors pay like a half price already. And so those seniors would be paying like $25 for their year pass.
Right.
Residents.
So currently our pricing structure for seniors is a $5 monthly charge for a resident senior and a $10 monthly charge for a non-resident senior. The annual pass for seniors is currently at $50 annually for residents and $100 annually for non-residents. So this proposal would change that annual pass fee for resident seniors. For the month of January, it'd be a sale of $25.
Yeah,
which is a
bargain.
crazy steal.
Yeah,
but if I look at
if
I look at the breakdown, my resident seniors are paying about $15 with us.
Yeah.
So if I can get them to pay $25, I've almost doubled their spend.
Yeah.
And that's
you've doubled their benefit too.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't think you want to discount how many more months they're getting instead of getting 3 months worth of, they're getting a whole year's worth.
Yep. And they might be more apt to use our facility if they have the annual pass, right? So
I love it. Thanks for thinking outside the box, and don't shortchange yourself on giving them more benefit too. I mean, it's not all about more revenue. It's more bang for their buck. It really is.
Yeah, I got to work on my sales approach.
Yeah, you do. You really do. Any other comments for Mr. Taylor, Councilor Arnold?
Move to approve resolution 2023-37 as stated within the packet.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Marigold, will you please poll the council?
Councilor Hilton?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill?
Yes.
Councilor Arnold?
Yes.
Councilor Henson?
Yep.
All right, very good. That passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr.
Thanks,
Taylor.
council.
Yeah. All right, number 8, consideration of resolution 2023-38, certifying the official canvass report of the November 21st, 2023 municipal election for Riverdale City, Utah. Ms. Maragoni.
Thank you. So in front of you, you have a little packet with the official canvass results as of yesterday.
Are you sure they're official?
Yes. I know this election has changed many times and it's been very, very close, but these are the actual official results. I didn't even get these till 6:30 last night, so.
They're updated as of 5:05 tonight. So.
It'll keep updating, but nothing will change. Weber County's ballots are all in. That's the state updating their website. With whatever other people. I guess there's some other recounts and stuff going on in the state, so. So I'm gonna just read the numbers. Elected with 920 votes, which is 20.64%, Michael Richter. Elected with 850 votes, which was 19.07%, Steve Hilton. And elected with 849 votes at 19.04%, Alan Arnold. The difference in the lowest amount was a 0.11%. So that's how close we are. They're all within 1% pretty much. So there were 1,641 total ballots counted for Riverdale.
I'm sorry, say that number again?
1,641. Out of our 4,103 registered voters, which is 36.2% voter turnout. We had 23 ballots rejected, which was 1%. Those were 4. 4 were late, returned past the deadline. 17 signatures didn't match. 1 was returned unsigned. 1 was returned with someone else signed it. Those that had signature issues were contacted and given instructions on how to fix it. Nobody returned an empty envelope, so there's that. And I think that is all the numbers. In the handout that you have, it also has, so that's the summary of all the votes at the beginning, and then each page after that is the different precincts. Any questions?
I had a question. Not to put you on the spot. Do you have any idea how this turnout compares to like our election 2 years ago?
So they said statewide, and I don't know exactly, I can go back and look, but it said statewide with the change in the date, everybody got lower.
It was down.
And so there was a lot of really close races because there was less voter turnout just because of the change in the date, I think, so.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Maragoni? Seeing none, we would need a motion to approve Resolution 2023-38.
Okay.
Councilor Stevens.
Move to approve Resolution 2023-38, certifying the official canvass report of the November 21st, 2023 municipal election of Riverdale, Utah.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you please poll the canvas board?
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Ms. Henson?
Yes.
Ms. Merrill?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Mr. Hilton?
Yes. And me.
Oh, that's right.
Mr. Mitchell?
I'm part of the canvas board. Yes.
Sorry.
But with that vote, I did have a comment. And I just
You
wanted
do
to.
that?
Oh, I can't? I can't.
Here?
Let's see. Let me look and see. Oh, yeah, I can, actually. Karina, I just wanted to say it's been a real pleasure having you on here. And
For sure.
I know somebody of the 4, had to lose. And I know Mike Richter, too. And anyway, I had real hard time with this. So anyway,
Thank you very much.
hopefully you'll still be involved in the city. And
Absolutely.
anyway, yeah. Councilor Arnold.
So this is my 6th election, and I've never had nerves like this before. It's
Well, after
freaking
that first
crazy.
night, Alan, I can see
What's
why.
that?
After that first night, I can see why your nerves are.
No, absolutely. It's the first election I won, and election night I lost by 2, and the provisional ballots put me up by 19. So I've done that before, but still, it's just the craziest, elections, and people are fickle. People are, whether they don't come out. It shocks me that we got 36%
Right.
when the ballots are given to you. set in your mailbox, put on your, whether they go right into the trash or whether they go on somebody's counter for a while and they forget or they don't or whatever. It just blows my mind that they can not vote. So,
Bless their hearts.
yeah.
Definitely shows how every vote counts. Yeah, very
Sure.
much.
And I was honored to even be holy cow. Anyways, I was just honored to even be in the running against everyone. So I was just really grateful.
Okay, well, very good. All right, we'll move on to comments. Any comments from the city council for this meeting? Nope. Okay, comments from the city staff?
The only things I would say is what Mike was talking about before our meeting. We do have our Christmas luncheon on the 13th. You are all invited to that. That's the one we do for all the employees. So don't say you weren't. This was your invitation tonight. And we have food, right, Rich? You ordered enough for them, or if not, we'll buy some. No, we're covered. You're fine. And we want you to be there.
Yeah, who
And then that the Shake Shack opening is that same day, so try to coordinate your schedule. Steve, you're a little late, but those of you who haven't made your reservations, coordinate that around our luncheon if you can make that. We'd love to see you, and we hope everybody can make that. So it's usually a pretty good meal. Where are you getting food, Rich? I know we talked about it, but
Yeah, so we're getting the meat from Goodwood, and then we're gonna purchase some rolls and some drinks, and then our senior center cooks are gonna make some potatoes, some salad, and a dessert.
Nice.
so it'd be worth your while to show up.
Yes, it will.
For sure.
That's all I have.
Anything else? We do have the ribbon cutting.
What's that?
Ribbon cutting, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the grand opening for Shake Shack is the next day, the 14th. And so we'd like everybody to show up for that. They actually have their own ribbon. They're not going to use ours. But we want to go through the same process for those of you who can make it. What time is that scheduled?
10:15.
So at 10:15, if you can show up for that. Yeah. So, yeah, anybody that can get there, get there.
One of the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of into this pomp and circumstance kind of thing. We're already working with the mayor on that to be the official first customer kind of thing.
If you have any
Something like that.
suggestions on who would be a good first customer, please reach out. Because I'm kind of stumped. I don't know.
If you have some unique ideas on that too,
There you go.
they were looking for a sled or a carriage or something.
Oh.
I don't know what we're going to come up with,
Well,
but
maybe we could have our Santa Claus go through. As,
We could.
As the first.
Having fire engine.
That'd be fun.
what's that?
Do you have a fire engine?
Well, the fire engine would be tough to get through there, but I did recommend say maybe we could take the ambulance or something, because it's small enough we
not
can
a
get
bad
that
idea.
through there. Because they want their first drive-up thing, and maybe we can get. I don't know if you saw, those of you who are friends with Randy Koger on Facebook posted a picture this week. You remember Randy that worked for us? He's dyed his hair and his beard white. It is shocking, man.
Really?
I grew up with Randy, and I hardly even recognized him, but I think he's getting ready for to
Koger?
be Santa Claus. Randy
When
Koger.
is the
Their code
Santa
enforcement
run?
guy.
Picture?
Ah,
23rd or the 16th or whatever?
and he posted that.
It must
today.
be the
I can't
16th. I
remember.
don't think it's the 23rd.
What's that?
Oh, you
The
don't?
Santa run.
Remember for sure.
The 18th. It's the.
They usually do
It's
it the
a Saturday. It's a
before.
Saturday. Whatever the Saturday. Well,
Yeah,
I don't
they'll
think
do
it's
it
the
on the
23rd though.
Saturday would be the 23rd or the 17th.
We'll send you out an email, let you know.
Okay. It was in the
Or-
newsletter.
It was in there. I just don't remember where it was. So.
And then I do have one question. We don't have Sean here.
Sean's out of town, out of state, actually.
Somebody's put a speed bump on Ritter Drive. Can you?
Like on the road?
Really?
Wait.
I bet I know who.
When did they do that?
With asphalt. The
Oh, that.
gas guys are in there, and I don't know if they had to cut something across the road, and I don't know if somebody went down and talked to them and said, "Dude, would you put a speed bump in there?" But
Jeez.
it's right up by 1500 West.
That's bold.
So.
Huh.
And I'm not used to it yet. I know it's there every day because I'm like, go!
It's working.
We'll get Norm up there tomorrow. He'll get on. I'm glad you told me. I had no idea. It's the first time we've heard it. So,
It's as bad as a pothole.
if I could, maybe
Reverse pothole.
just quickly, Mayor, I attended a ceremony today that was kind of impressive down at the Weber County Commissioners. Our police department had done a recognition for the county attorneys and their work on those murder cases that we had, and Chief Warren was there and handed out some plaques and stuff. It was really nice, and I think it was touching. The commissioners, a lot like you guys, you know surface stuff, but you don't hear the details and the behind the scenes kind of things. And Casey did a really, really nice job on that. The one thing that was left out was his recognition. And so even though those attorneys did a lot of work, the main man who did that was sitting right here with us tonight. So I recognize him in addition to those attorneys. They do us a good job, but Casey deserves a pat on the back, not only for that ceremony today, but for the work that he did in that case. So kudos to Casey as well.
Okay.
And to add on to that, there's the personal side of this too. You've done a lot with the victim. A lot.
She was actually there today and spoke, and it was moving. It was good. And you got to remember, ironically, all these murders have taken place right on holidays. So whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, Casey's given those up for his family as well. So that's the dedication that we have from our department. And really, it was our department that did the work on that. The attorneys come in after the fact, but the front man on that stuff is our guys. And that was headed up by our now chief. So good work on Casey.
You missed the most important part. The opening statement was recognizing Steve. It was really
Harvey.
nice words about it.
When I grew up with Jim Harvey, and I've known Jim forever, and we have all kinds of stories, and it never fails when I show up at a meeting. He takes a jab at me, and it's like, I wish he wouldn't do that, but nonetheless, it is what it is. But no, it was a very good meeting, and it made Riverdale look good, and so good work on Casey's part.
Okay, I can't remember if I shared this, but I actually got a letter from the defense attorney for Chief Warren, which was kind of weird because they were kind of opponents in the case. But he said he'd never worked with somebody with as much integrity and stuff as, and that was it was a really nice letter for Chief Warren. So anyway, and then I did have something about Mr. Brooks. You guys can't believe the number of calls and emails I get about just weird stuff. And when I first became the mayor, I felt like I needed to deal with them myself or trying to do something. But honestly, now I just send them all on to Steve. And I feel horrible sometimes, but he just deals with them. Like, somebody's got some stray cat in their yard and they're not happy and it's attacking their cat and the weirdest thing. And I just sent it on to Steve. And I said, and the person thinks I'm the greatest person in the world, and he just sent me a picture of it tonight and it's dealt with, and anyway, there's just a million things like that. And so he is just, I just run everything through him and he's just doing a great job for me. The company I work for, we opened a new clinic and pharmacy down in South Salt Lake, and they did a ribbon cutting down there. Nowhere near as classy as ours. It was South Salt Lake's a big city. Like, I thought this is going to be cool, Nah, it's nothing. Like, they did have big scissors, but that was about it. Like, anyway, ours is anyway. Thanks for all that you guys do with those. Like, I've never seen another ribbon cutting, but yeah, they could learn a thing or two. But anyway, we also have we would like to have a Christmas dinner with all of us together.
When is that?
It's on the 15th. It's a Friday night, and hopefully you can all make it.
These two can't.
Well, they can't make it that night.
These two can't. Is there?
I don't think anything's set in stone, is it? We don't have a reservation or anything because we actually are open to suggestions on where we might go. We went to Ruby River last year, and
I vote no on Ruby River.
it was kind of. So I did go to one this last Saturday at Ruby River, and it was much better. But I don't want to subject you guys to that.
Turned
that
down
was
the heat this time.
yeah. The heat was
warm
on. They had both
upstairs?
fireplaces going, and it was much warmer. It was upstairs again, but
okay.
we talked about maybe trying to get into Cheddar's. It's pay your own way, so it's Cheddar's is very economical. I feel like their pricing's great. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to changing the date. I'd hate to have people not be able to go.
Well, I don't want you to change it for me though. If
No,
everybody
no.
else can
We're
make
gonna
it,
change it. It's both of you guys.
Yeah.
Would you want the 16th? The what? A schedule doodle thing?
It's a poll. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
And then I was planning on just like getting on the
On the way.
list, like
At Cheddar's, yeah, that's fine.
I think Cheddar's is a good idea.
I think it'd be kind of, some of us probably haven't been there yet, and it'd be kind of fun to go. And it's a +1 if you want. So whatever.
Can I just say something about Cheddar's?
Yeah.
Went there with my family a couple weeks ago. The manager who transferred from Texas, how's it going? How do you like it? And I said, yeah, this is really good. How's the hood thing? Did that all the things mentioned? He says, how do you know that? And I kind of said it. And he says, I want to comp your dinner. And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because, but if you mention that you're from the city,
yeah,
they, anyway.
Yeah.
I just went, no. I didn't mention that for freebie.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah.
But he was very appreciative of the people at the city helping on that. But anyway.
Good, and thanks for that. That's a good comment. So we'll just try and get in there. We'll just let them know ahead of time, maybe even a few days ahead, and then we'll get on the list an hour and a half before we want to go or whatever. Because they don't do reservations. I've tried, and they just won't. So,
even if you're from the city,
I took all the mayors there. I mean, I told them I was from the city. I said, "Do you know who I am?" I'm just kidding. No, I did though. I took the mayors there for dinner, and they wouldn't do a reservation, so I had to go get on the list at 4:30 in the afternoon. So, but they did an awesome job. I'm excited, so that'll be fun to go there. Okay, all right, enough messing around. We got people waiting for us. So, okay, with nothing else, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All right, we're adjourned. Okay.
Oh gosh.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump into our, if everybody's okay, we'll jump into the Riverdale City RDA Board meeting for Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Jeez. Please let the record show that all board members are present, as well as members of the city staff and members of the public. Seeing no members of the public for public comment, we will move on to, other than the petitioners or people that are on the possible agenda tonight. Yes, thank you. And we have no presentations or reports, so we will move on to consent items. Consideration to approve the meeting minutes from the September 5th, 2023 RDA board meeting and work session. Also, the other consent item is a consideration to approve the 2024 RDA board meeting schedule. Any questions or comments on either of these consent items? Any changes to the minutes? A motion to be in order. Board
to
member
approve
Arnold.
consent items. We do them both?
Yeah, let's do it. Just two consent items,
Both
you bet.
consent items.
Both consent items. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, that passes unanimously. We'll move on to action item number 1, discussion and updates regarding the West Bench RDA area. Mr. Brooks.
Thanks, Mayor. I called for this and asked for it. We met with America First earlier this week, and as I described it in that meeting, I feel like one of those cartoon figures we see on the line where their head just blows up. You know? this like changes and grows on us weekly, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're running into all kinds of crazy stuff, just crazy stuff. And I felt it was important that I informed the board and really the council on where we're at. And I appreciate Jake Tate being here tonight. Jake's the engineer. He's with AWA. I know you think he's our engineer because he's here so much, but he's not. And he represents America First on this project. And then obviously Kim, who is our favorite Riverdale resident that has some clout with America First. We love having her here. But as we're going along on this in that meeting, there's so many things happening. It's going crazy. And we've got issues with UDOT. We've got all these other things that have suddenly changed. And as we've been crunching numbers ourselves and things, this project is getting really, really big. And in the end, it's going to be a huge benefit to not only the RDA, because I'm talking to you as the RDA board tonight because you're familiar with that part of it, but that RDA budget is only at $9 million. And this thing is growing to numbers that's almost shocking to everybody here with these improvements and different things. And so at the end, when this is all said and done and it's in place and all that stuff, it's going to be a huge benefit to the city because of the property taxes and the changes in those kind of things. So it's a big, big benefit for us. But we got to get there first. So we've got road issues. Primarily right now, 4400 is a huge concern. And I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop so you know where we're at. Both those bridges, the one that goes over I-15 and the one that goes under 84, are set to be replaced by UDOT. They're only going to replace them as they stand right now. And that really isn't an option to Riverdale or the RDA or America First. Those bridges need to be improved. And so we jumped on that already. I had a meeting, Mike and I and Cody, with one of our representatives, and we'll get the other one in here, but we met with one of them yesterday and expressed our concern about this. We've been meeting with UDOT regularly, and we're getting nowhere with it. We have another meeting scheduled on the 18th that we're going to meet with them, and we're bringing everybody in on that, trying to get them. What they tell us is these are 50-year bridges. None of those bridges will be more than 5 years once this project's done, with the amount of traffic, because you have two directions to go. You get out on Riverdale Road or you get out on 4400. Neither one of those roads, including Riverdale Road, can handle this much increase in traffic. And so we're expressing our concerns about these kind of things because this is a major concern. I mean, we're going to be bottlenecked on both sides of our city here, the two main east-west corridors. So, but I'm glad Jake's here tonight to kind of explain to you and show you some of the things that are going on and some of the things that they're looking at and we're looking at, and we're trying to help them. I did want to at least, we're planning on going forward and continuing to work and help them as much as we can. But our options are somewhat limited too, because the one thing that the RDA board could do, and this is why I wanted to bring it in here, is we could go back into those taxing entities and try and increase our budget on that. But you all know those have been battles. When Larry did this one originally, this thing was a major war. I think he went in there with a request of 14 million, and then it got knocked down to 12, and then eventually got to 9 with a shorter period. I mean, this is not going to be easy. It's going to be a huge battle. In the long run, it's good for everybody, including them, because if this comes off like the plans are, I mean, they're gonna get their share of money. They would just have to buy some time. So we want everything on the table is kind of what I'm saying, and I want to make sure you guys are okay with that. We will continue to work forward on these things and helping them both from the city's perspective and the RDA's perspective as best we can, unless you tell me differently, because I think this is a no-brainer for us. It benefits both, the RDA and Riverdale City. But I'll let Jake kind of explain some of these things so it'll kind of get your minds back to where we've been and the stuff we're dealing with. And this is going to be a lot of work. It's going to be crazy, and we're going to need to work together as a team to pull this thing off. But I think you'll be really tickled and happy with where it's going and how it's looking at this point. But like I said, unless you tell me differently, we're moving forward on both the city's behalf and the RDA. So, Jake, you want to go from there? Does that give you a good enough introduction? All right.
America First has deep pockets. Why don't you just write us a check?
Wait till you see what they are going to be.
Okay.
The top one. All right. Well, it's good to be back. Jake Tate with Anderson Walden Associates, 2010 North Riverdale Road. Feels like I haven't been here in a while, but it's because we've been working on this, and I hope once you see what we've been doing, it's gonna really be something special. So I did want to say one thing. It was mentioned earlier that Mayor, you made a phone call about a stray cat or a fight. So I think I saw it on the way here. It was on the porch up front at the city. So that's what Steve's been doing with the cats. He just brings them here and dumps them at the city. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you for pulling that out, Michelle. Well, one of the things, I've been here through many of these meetings with you, and we've kind of seen the evolution of the RDA area and America First. We've been working with Kim for probably, the ideas came up about 10 years ago about improving this campus, and Kim personally for probably 5 years we've been working and starting our master planning for what's going to happen up there. And originally that the RDA area was not included in that because the AFC didn't own it, and the opportunity came up. And we've presented you before the RDA as it currently was and the agreements that are in place for a flex retail space, and that has America First was lucky enough to go and purchase that property and really improve what's going to happen there, I think. So would you mind moving to the next one? So the corporate campus up at America First, we've teamed up with GSBS Architects, and America First is going to make the West Bench basically their corporate home for longer than we'll be employed. It's going to be here for years, for our lifetimes. What you see on the screen before you, this is building 1, and this is going to be where the execs are and kind of the cornerstone of the site. This is truly the elevations that we're going with. I mean, it's going to be a ton of glass. It's going to have a cool patio up on top and an event space down here on the front with some pretty cool wood accents, natural accents. It's not going to be wood, but it's going to be a wood composite that's going to stay and last for a long time. And we're actually able to bring on a landscape architecture firm out of Denver, Colorado called Civitas, and they have some amazing streetscapes that we're going to be putting in here. It is truly a first-class opportunity here. You mind going to the next one, Michelle? So this is standing in the plaza to our backs will be the first parking structure, but this is looking down to the north. Building 1 is on the right, and ultimately in the south campus, there are going to be 5 buildings, about 750,000 square feet of office. America First currently has offices over in Roy, the old Iomega campus. They own that, and they're filling most of those. They're leasing spaces in downtown Ogden, and they have spaces all the way up the Wasatch Front. And the intent with the campus is to eventually bring all those people in-house. And then with the natural growth that they've been expanding in the last 2 to 3 years. Currently, we have 15 properties or so under contract in Arizona. Las Vegas is a huge market that they've been expanding into, and we're already in Idaho. And so there's a lot of growth that we're anticipating. Currently, these 5 buildings can house approximately 3,000 to 4,000 people, and maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people. And they're in the long term, as which you'll see here in a moment. There's another North Campus that has another 5 buildings that could be up to 1.5 million square feet of office buildings. 5,000 to 6,000 people here under the employee, and the intent at this point is not necessarily to lease that out. The growth projections, if things kind of slowed down a little bit with COVID and remote work, if COVID hadn't happened, I think we would get there a lot sooner. But now that people are opting to stay home sometimes, and we don't necessarily need dedicated spaces for everyone, we back that off a little bit. But these 5 buildings are anticipated in the next 10, I'd say 15 to 25 years. We'd hit probably the 25-year mark. We hit that building 5, and it's going to be amazing. So all these, what you're seeing here is the intent is to have a Main Street type concept where people can come out of the buildings, have their lunches, interact with the streetscape, and there aren't going to be vehicles driving down there very often. We can get food carts down there if we want. We'll obviously have fire access when needed. But the intent is not to have people drive up in front of the car, and you'll see that here in the overall master plan. So this is a view looking over, basically hovering over I-84, looking to the north. And what you're seeing here on the left is 2 parking structures that will be needed to kind of well, there's 3. If you look at the one just to behind the 2 buildings in the center, that's another parking structure. So to be able to park these vehicles, we do need some pretty heavy parking structures. One of the things we are doing, we have met and will continue to meet with UTA, talked about getting dedicated bus services, shuttle services. AFCU's talked about having shuttle services from here to the front runner, and UTA putting a dedicated route through the campus so that we can get people in and out, not necessarily just with cars, but when you're talking 2,000 to 3,000 people, we definitely need some parking. We're looking at putting photovoltaic cells on there, so we'll be generating some power from solar. And in the front, you can actually see that's our detention pond. And the cool thing about this campus is we get to do things I'm excited about, because I get to do things that I don't normally get to do. And that spicing up a detention pond isn't something, usually that's the last thing they want to spend money on, right? But this is going to be a place where people can sit. You can see kind of there's some stripes in that front area there. There's going to be a boardwalk over kind of a dedicated water space and some concrete benches where they can actually sit down in the detention pond if they'd like to and just interact with that space. Yes, Councilor Stevens.
If I'm looking at this correctly, is the plan to raise the old Big D building and
Eventually, yes. That's building 5. So we're going to build the 4 around it, and the one that's right in the middle of the 3, that's where the Big D's building is, and eventually that'll come down and it'll be gone. And
where the current What?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So here's Riverdale Road, this will be building one, this is where that current Big D building sits.
Okay.
We'll start with this one, this one, this one, this building, and then eventually we'll.
Okay,
check
so
out
where the headquarters is now, is that gonna be
Big
raised?
D.
Yep, that'll come down.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No, building two. Where's
Building two, yes, it is sitting right here, you can see it in the picture.
Oh, that's the old FedEx?
That's the old FedEx, that
Okay.
will actually come down as part of this.
Yeah, that'll come down next year.
All right.
And then the original building, that's the building one, that would be taken down when we go to the north campus.
Wow.
Yeah, so when we expand to
Or
the north.
sooner, depending.
Wow.
That one's getting to its.
You just
But
snazzed that
have
up.
you
It's age limit.
allocated for, who is it that does the Autorama Labor Day sales-thon with the, in the parking lot of America
We used
First?
to do
Hurts. Yeah.
Oh, is it Hertz?
Yeah.
So where's that gonna be put at?
Not here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I mean.
We might have space because building two is coming down when the ops building, which is currently under construction, that's one you're probably familiar with. That's going to come online in January, I believe, is when we went to.
Probably
January?
closer to March.
Okay. Early next year, that one's coming online, and then building two is going to come down because everybody that's in building two will be relocated to the ops building or other spaces around campus. But we're also looking at putting a branch right here on Riverdale Road where there will be a new credit union branch right up against, just next to Maverick there on the
And
old
that, so did you buy that from
Gibby's.
Gibby's?
Yes.
Wow.
We are.
So there,
Oh,
other
good.
than
Real close the first year.
all of the undeveloped land is now owned by AFCU, apart from what's up on the hill there. So this truly is a master plan, and there are plans taking us long into the future, and these are kind of the ground level roots, if you want to call it, that Steve's talking about. The infrastructure that we need is kind of needs to happen now so that we can make that growth happen later. Do you want to switch to the next one? So there's some more views here. So this is rotating around. You're over I-15 now, looking kind of southwest, and you can see down on the frontage here. This is the new ops building that's under construction, the data center. So we've master planned this kind of commercial corridor here where we have hotel users that want to come in. We're most likely will have a hotel here at some time in the near future. Restaurants and some retail, more restaurants through here will line 1500. That'll help support all these people that we're putting in these office buildings and keep them kind of in the West Bench, but also draw people from I-15 in here. And there'll be maybe some small medical offices like a clinic that could help support the people who are here, but a lot of retail is planned right through this corridor. Tesla is shown here, and then Maverick kind of to orient you of what's going to happen. And you can see the amount of trees. One of the things I love about what Civitas is doing is they're trying to bring back some of the orchard feel from originally what it used to be. And you'll see once we get into some more detailed plans, there's a lot of, it doesn't necessarily look like it when you're on the ground, but when you come up and see the plan view, you can really see there's some kind of homage to the orchard that it used to be. And we're trying to keep the natural feel of what was there. So there will be a lot of trees up there. It's gonna be a little painful at first when we tear down the trees that are there, but just trust us, there's a lot coming. It's just gonna take a few years to get them back to growth, to grow and look. So now here's another view looking south down Main Street. So right here we're hovering over building one, the original building, and looking back towards Larry H. Miller's car dealer up on the north there, on the top of the screen there. But this is kind of the Main Street campus that we're designing, and it'll be totally walkable, interactive. All those planters that you see that people can sit on, they're going to be underlit so that there's going to be light there, and it's going to be pretty amazing.
I don't see a red roof. Hotel.
Yeah, no red roof. No comment on that one. But we're hoping to get some new brand name hotel there to serve I was actually surprised how many people that America First brings in that use a hotel. So to have it right there will be amazing. Bring them right into the campus. So it'll be a good experience, and we've got a few people already lined up to look at it, so it's a good opportunity. All right, so this is looking back towards the south on Main Street, and you can see we're really trying to use sustainable landscaping, stuff that doesn't require a lot of water but still brings a lot of color and depth to the landscape that we're going to be creating. There'll be places to sit and take part in. We're really excited for how this is going to turn out. Just some more. So on the right there, you can see that is our parking structure. So we've really kind of, instead of just having this big mass of concrete that you kind of think of, it's going to have a metal frame all the way around it. It's going to be architecturally designed with some texture. There's a big glass area there that you pass through once you come out of it, and you can come down through an elevator. And it's really, we took what could be just at sea as an eyesore and tried to really make it look nice, because America First wants this to be a first-class development, and definitely wants it to be something that not only Riverdale's proud of, but it represents who they are and what they represent. So it'll be a really nice experience to be here. And this is kind of as we were hovering over Tesla, looking back to the east. You can see we just kind of spec'd in some retail there, some drive-throughs, some restaurants. Look forward to bringing in some people, some really nice businesses up there, can get the traffic right off the freeway. You guys are lucky as a community to have so much commercial, and you just have just about every restaurant you could want here in Riverdale. So, this might give them an opportunity to.
We don't have a Golden Corral.
No,
Well,
we don't want one.
we'll see.
We don't have a cheesecake factory, so
That's
work
true.
on that.
That's true.
Or a Crown Burger.
There's some fun names being thrown around. I don't want to commit to anything yet, but there's some cool retailers and vendors that we're talking to. So hopefully we can bring something exciting.
Likes Crown Burger. That's right.
So this is kind of a little concept of what the full build out could be with the 10 buildings. It goes all the way down, and we have commercial all the way up 1,500. But we also are ended up with 20 to 30 acres on the north. Now that could be flex retail, that could be multi-tenant family housing. I mean, there's a lot of options for what we could do up there. But the issues we're dealing with now is traffic, and we want to make sure that America First can build their campus and still get everybody in and out of there efficiently, and then we'll kind of worry about that later. But there is going to be space available for other things in the future.
With this being an RDA, is there a housing component?
The one thing to take note is the RDA ends here. So all of phase one will be in the RDA. Everything up here technically is outside of the RDA.
And one of the things to answer your question is Larry did get a letter into the Olin Walker Housing Fund to have the housing component removed, and they granted that actual removal. So we get 100% of the increment as it's currently set up, which is a great benefit to this project area.
But there's still like a future option, like you said, in the north it could. So we're not saying no completely, but.
Yeah, I mean, the RDA, it just wouldn't be affected by the RDA, just real estate.
We don't have the need.
That's correct.
You have a certain percentage that has to be. That's
normally you would donate 20% to the Olin Walker Housing Fund, and we have that removed. We're exempt.
Okay.
What's the trigger date on the RDA?
25 next year.
January 1st, 2025. And we have we have that calendared and ready to go. That's probably when it will be triggered. We'll just say that.
We will notify them in 24 fairly early on, saying we're going. And so it'll be ready to go. But even though, some of this isn't RDA, the water and sewer are directly related to it. And Jake, maybe we'll get into some of that, but that's a huge aspect of this. I mean, we're going to have to go down 4,400 and all kinds of stuff, not just traffic, but with utilities as well. And if you recall, the RDA was designed primarily just to move those power lines. That was the bulk of that $9 million. We were looking at about $6 million just in that alone, just the power lines. So we didn't have a whole bunch more left over for these other things, and that's some of the need that we're going to have. But that doesn't just benefit the RDA. That increasing the capacity on the sewer line benefits the whole city, because that's going to go right down that main trunk down 4,400, which we need more room and space on that. So.
Yeah. And we're working with Sean Douglas and his consultants to do a water and sewer study so that we can make sure that through 2040, 2050, we're prepared and we know what's coming, and then the city can work on infrastructure and we can assist with those calculations and just to make sure that not only the needs of AFCU's project, but more importantly, the needs of the city are planned for and they're in the budget and they're met. So that's what we're working through that right now. So this is an overview of phase one. To answer your question, building 3 is going to stay. So we're currently up to our elbows in design right now with the first building. Most of the landscaping through here, some of this is going to be sacrificial when that other building is built, but we want to make sure to make it look nice so it doesn't feel like there's just another building dropped around us. But you can see here, we're actually going to mound this up. There's some pretty cool areas here that they're it hints of what's coming with the building footprints, but in the meantime, it'll be landscaped and be able to be used by all the the employees from America First. So this is just what phase one is going to be. Now, when the retail component comes on, is still a little question here, but this main area is going to be phase one, from extending America First Boulevard down all these improvements, building one, parking structure, and all of Main Street.
And Jake, when you bring that up, that you're talking that could be seen as early as sometime next year, right? First or second quarter, maybe.
Yes.
We might start that process. Yeah.
And then part of, we want to get there as soon as possible, but there's a lot of this stuff that we need to hammer out before we get too far down the road. And we are definitely in design and looking forward to this moving forward early next year. All right, one last look, kind of back up there. This is what phase one would look like. So we took the other 4 buildings off. But this is technically in 2025, this is what it will look like at the West Bench. So this is coming immediately and exciting. It's going to be nice, and it's phasing everything is one of the balls we're juggling, and not to mention all the transportation and things. And we got a lot of cool things happening up here. So I wanted to go through a little bit more. If you'll skip to the next one.
What's the timing on the retail side, so that road's opened?
Yeah, so we're going to be widening 1500 West next year. So that will be done all the way from Maverick to the roundabout, and then 1500 continues on. And at that point, then the retail pads can be laid out. We're going to be mass grading probably early next year, get the pads ready, utilities stubbed. And then at that point, we should have all of our transportation, hopefully at least the plan in place of how we're going to get the transportation taken care of. And at that point, then we can start looking at getting retailers in there and getting that retail online. We would love to have them there with phase one, just so we can service the employees and the community. But a lot of it's the transportation, but that should be resolved in the next, hopefully 3 to 4 months. We can at least have the plan in place. So this is where things start to get a little mind-blowing, to give you an idea. So America First has already been approved and ready to spend $160 million-ish in the West Bench for building one, the parking structure, and Main Street. That's just phase one. And as things progress, and we've kind of given you a start and finish dates for each of the buildings on the top, so it is projected out probably 23-ish years. But you can see that with inflation and as things go up, every building that comes on, by 2045, America First will have spent almost $900 million just for the South Campus. And that doesn't include the potential northern 10 buildings. So, I mean, there's a potential here to be $1.5 to $2 billion spent in the next 40 to 50 years for this campus. And so I think that's where...
Can you work on a commission?
She wishes.
We all wish, right?
Dang.
But I think that's where, to Steve's point, these numbers I don't think were contemplated when the RDA was set up. I think this was not even in the stratosphere of what was intended. So, but along with this comes a lot of improvements and things that need to infrastructure that Steve was talking about. So if you want to go to the next one, one of the things that the RDA is in place, which you negotiated with Ted Heap and his project. Some of the things in there probably we need to negotiate or discuss, because there's some amendments, signage, and a few things that were really specific for his project that really don't apply to what we're doing. So we're in discussions with the city, going through the legal teams are going back and forth and just trying to make that as applicable to what's actually going to be built as we can. And some of the items we're going to be talking about is funding. So if you wouldn't mind bringing up the next one. So this is oh wow, it's active. Can you push the button again? I didn't know we were going to pop this up. So the Rocky Mountain Power line relocation, as Steve mentioned, was the original kind of impetus of this, and that's in progress. The poles are up. They're starting ready to reroute the line, so it's almost done. So that's good. Now, one of the main things was the traffic improvements, and we've talked to you before about how we worked with UDOT and we got the I-15 full movement interchange on the schedule, and it'll be done in the next probably 8 to 10 years. That'll be a full movement interchange, all directions, which is exciting. Now, one of the other things there that isn't included is we are currently, to the meeting that Steve talked about, we're talking about additional I-15 improvements that could be a large chunk of money that we're looking at funding from Wasatch Regional Council. We have meetings with legislature and trying to get more funds, but there's a potential here that we could modify that off-ramp to get a to get an actual access that goes directly into the campus off of I-15. Kind of like if you've ever driven northbound on I-15 on 106 South, they put in that one that goes straight into the mall area there. It would be somewhat similar to where we could divert, if we have 3,000 or 4,000 employees, we could divert them straight to the campus and not have to go through that Riverdale Road and 1500 West intersection. Now, there are going to need to be intersection changes, so dedicated right turn lane as you're coming southbound on 1500 to go basically get straight onto I-15. We're probably going to have to add additional turn lanes and do some improvements there just to keep traffic. But as you can see, that $9 million goes really fast when we start talking about slip ramps from I-15, interchange relocations, if you wouldn't mind hitting it one more time. Now the 4400 bridge widenings that we talked about, UDOT has given us a preliminary estimate to widen those to 4 lanes, so 2 each direction. And then under I-84, it would only be 1, but it have a full middle turn lane. We're probably going to convert those roundabouts to lights to be more efficient, so those roundabouts wouldn't be there anymore.
Lord.
Which
I can't even imagine Roy Perkins on that one.
which roundabouts? All 3 of them, or just the one on 1500?
Just on our side, 1500. Yeah, at the top of 1500 and the one that's under I-84. It just makes it much more efficient, and you don't get stuck in one direction while cars keep going the other way. So, from a traffic standpoint, it's way more efficient. But traffic signals are very, very expensive. So, they've given us an estimate of $7 million that they need to just as Steve said, just to go from their number to widen it to accommodate the additional traffic. And we are currently working on funding for that and trying to shake every tree that we can, because it's happening now and we need those funds as soon as possible because they're ready to start their design. And we're hoping our 18th meeting will buy us a little time to do that. So the 1500 West widenings are happening. It's coming down the road. That should be started next year.
Can I just interrupt here?
Please.
Okay, does Tesla have frontage on 1500?
They do.
So did you do the engineering for Tesla? Mm-hmm. So are they are their corporate on board with this also?
Yeah, all their plans were designed with that widened fully. So they're all on board. They know that it's coming and they're aware that we're going to be a little behind. That's one of the difficulties is between that project, AFCU's project, the roundabout project, and we have Weber Basin Water doing a bunch of water main improvements through there. We're juggling like 5 different balls here trying to get everybody coordinated and timing. And I think by middle of next year, everybody will be in and done, at least for that little piece. But it's a bit of a logistical nightmare.
Tesla know about all this stuff before they bought it?
They know of it during, they knew it was happening.
When they're saying the amount that they bought it for, you were kind of shocked that they went that high, but they stole it to be a part of this. Awesome.
Looking at it now, you could make that argument.
Yeah.
But at the time, we didn't even see that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, American First didn't own the property, and we didn't really know that it was going to be available to buy. So
warehouses.
Serendipitous, maybe, but. And then, as Steve mentioned, 4400, we've got a sewer project that we're working on that will basically upsize it from the river all the way up. And that'll accommodate future growth down lower, the new housing subdivision that's going in down at the east end, and then anything up future. So we're working.
What?
The apartments and stuff that are going in there.
Oh.
Yeah. So it'll accommodate future growth, hopefully for the next 50 years for the city, and be able to accommodate whatever could come. So we're working on those. We're working on those designs and meet with consultants. Those water vault upgrades. So we're basically giving you a new connection up here north of Tesla, so that the water system it's a rat's nest right now. What's up there? It's a combination of 30 to 40 years of just connecting on, and it'll be nice and slick, and you'll have a new delivery system with their new 30-inch line they're bringing in. So really help up there, and we're doing some analysis to see if you need a new water tank up there to facilitate the city. So there's all these improvements coming that potentially could be part of this RDA. And when you start throwing numbers at this, that $9 million starts getting really small. Really, the power lines and the bridges over 4400 exhaust the RDA. And then everything else on there is where we're going to get funds from. And that's why we're starting to talk to as many people as we can to try and fund this. And then finally, there's some signage there. We want to make sure to make this the best development possible. That Tesla, everybody knows Tesla's here. Everybody knows if we get a Golden Corral that they have their heart on that sign, but that everybody knows what's here and that we can make sure. Because it is very visible, but at the same time, it's easy to overlook. And so we want to make sure that everybody that's there has the visibility and is known, so that we can bring as many people into the city as possible.
Could I just go on that just briefly? This signage thing has kind of been an interesting deal. So when we were in negotiations with Tesla, where they would have that exposure on I-15, we discussed with them about, well, what if we get together with you and us and Ted Heap and eventually America First, because they overlook 84. Tesla overlooks I-15, and then we have that corner piece on Riverdale Road. And I figured if we all work together, we could kind of swap and exchange these things. Everybody seemed to be on board. The Tesla one's kind of grown a little bit. It's warped into the RDA paying for that sign, which wasn't what we ever agreed to, but I'm sure we can work something out at some point in time. But the whole point is we can help each other with that exposure. We've got all three of those points right there. And so we will eventually be coming back to the board, in discussions on that kind of stuff. That corner piece doesn't do us a ton of good, other than it's perfect for a sign right there, and pulls people off of Riverdale Road and gives them exposure. So I think in the end that will be a really good thing for all of us. We can work something out on that
It's
deal.
going to be a turn lane. It's not going to be.
Yeah, better be careful where you put it.
It depends. I mean, it goes back far enough that I think we still could. Yeah, we got to be careful with.
Obstructed billboard either.
Yeah, that's the one point we got to be careful with. It won't be extremely high on Riverdale Road because that billboard's there. But that's just further explanation. All this stuff's just come about. It's just it's in motion everywhere. It's going crazy.
Taken off on a life of its own.
It has. We did not see this even a year ago.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
The one thing I like that Steve said is that we need to work together, and I think we're all on board for that, because this truly is going to take the city. It's going to take all of America First's abilities, and it's going to take UDOT, and it's going to take, we're talking to senators. I mean, we're talking to everybody, the Wasatch Regional Traffic Council. So I mean, we're trying to get everybody involved, because truly this is one of the few opportunities along I-15 corridor that you could do something like this, and the transportation is a big part of that. So that's why we wanted to get this in front of you and let you know what's coming, because it's a big undertaking. Wow. And anything the city can do to help us, and anything we can do to help the city, and anything we can do to help UDOT, and if we can put pressure on UDOT, hopefully we can bring this to pass and work together as a team to make it happen. And funding's part of it. And if I think with the we'll get, and then there'll be future meetings where we'll talk more about numbers and things. We didn't want to get too much in the weeds on that, but I think that we're going to see that the difference in the tax increment that's going to come from this project is going to be mind-blowing and astonishing. So I think there's going to be some opportunities for us to help each other on that.
Is that, okay, you open this by saying we're not going to be able to go back to the tax entities to...
Well, we don't know. That's one of the plans. Nothing's off the table right now. We may do a combination of everything, and that would be one of the things that we would look at. And that would be our selling point too, because if those property taxes increase, they get more money. So it benefits them as well.
To dig their heels in on this.
I agree. But we're going to be limited too. They're not going to give us everything we want, but so we've got to look at every option right now, and that's what we're doing.
Well, you know what? And the thing is, I mean, we're not the elephant in the room. You are. I mean, when you go to the taxing entities, Riverdale's just like UDOT. We call UDOT and say, "Would you, hello?" I mean, America First with this project is the one going in saying, "Hey, we need to have this done," and we'll be behind them going, "Yeah." We need that done.
I was actually surprised when we started looking at the interchange, and trying to think of innovative ways we can get people in on that Riverdale Road corridor. When our traffic engineer proposed that slip ramp to come directly into AFCU, and usually that's like pie in the sky stuff. I have clients all the time. They're like, "Hey, can I get an off ramp on the freeway?" And I'm like, "No, you can't, because it's not happening." But when we took that to UDOT, they were excited. They're like, "This is amazing. We've been trying to figure this specific area out for a long time, because it's always been bad with traffic. And with everything they're doing up 5600, they're already going to be doing the interchange. They're like, now's the time to do this." the iron's hot, let's strike, and let's get this going. So this meeting, I think we're going to make a lot of legwork on the 18th and make a lot of progress. So there's exciting things, and usually if you propose something like that to UDOT, it just gets slammed and it's gone. But they were excited about it. So we're
Just real quick, Jake. So yeah, I mean, Steve and I have met with UDOT a couple of times and tried to tell them that America First was going to do this, and they just kind of shake their heads and say, yeah, but once America First actually met with them, all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, like we might have to build another off-ramp or something. And then one other thing that we didn't mention, another group that's involved, that bridge is actually in Weber County. It's in unincorporated Weber County, that bridge up there next to the walkway. So Weber County plays a role in this. Ogden City's trying to expand their airport. They are bringing in a carrier, and they have big plans for it. Well, this all plays right into, I mean, so we're trying to get everybody involved. Ogden City really plays a role in this. I talked to Mayor Dandoy on last Friday about it. Roy, he's super, he's like, oh, we want to be involved. 4400 goes right out there. It's one of our big east-west corridors that we need. And so you got Ogden City, you got Weber County. But any connections that you guys have, I know Councilor Arnold's got connections with some of the state legislators, and Commissioner Harvey likes to give Steve a hard time, but they're pretty good buddies. And when it comes down to it,
Steve's story from Commissioner Harvey, if you.
I mean, every time I see Harvey, he tells me something funny about Steve. But
I don't want to tell him I know him. We're in the same wing of our church.
But anyway, any connections you have in Roy, in Ogden, in Weber County, anybody that you can make aware of this. Hey, we have a huge project coming. UDOT, anybody you know, they kind of need to know this is coming.
Are you going to be presenting to this is very enlightening, but, and this is very pertinent for us, but is this kind of presentation going to be made to Roy or
we will. Again, some of this stuff we've just found out about a week ago, and that's where the mayor's already talked to Roy. I mean, we're just going everywhere right now. But it's going to take a little bit of time to get it. But we do have something scheduled right now already.
Working on this, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's like getting, Katie Hall and Ann and Milner and, just aware of what can happen can really help us on our 2030 problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When we met with Rosemary yesterday, that was one of the things because she's new and she doesn't know all that stuff, but we explained to her that what happens in 2030, and this is even becoming even bigger now, and she needs to be aware of that because it affects all of her people as well, which is half of Riverdale that she represents. So this thing is big. It's really big. It affects the whole end of the county here.
That would be in her district.
Right. She goes right to 4400.
Yeah, so we do appreciate the opportunity to come kind of present to you and bring you up to speed on what's happening. Looking forward. You're probably going to get sick of me in 20 years when I come up here to do Phase 5, but we're looking forward to it. It's exciting, and it's not very often you get to be involved in a project like this, something that's community changing, and I'm excited to be a part of it, and especially with someone with like America First, who the roots are there and they're not going anywhere. They're here to stay, and they're a good client to have, and we really appreciate the opportunity to be here with representing them.
What do you see at night? So, the call centers close at 8, is that right? So, how many employees are there at night? I'm sure they have some computer techs or anything like that, but on the retail corridor, is it going to be like a shut down early kind of place? Or is it
for the retail, I would imagine no. That's kind of that 6 to 8 p.m. are kind of the critical hours for capitalizing a lot of the dinner crowd. So with the hotel there, it'll be open 24 hours, obviously, and to feed those, we'd like to have it open as late as we can. The America First, there might be a few stragglers finishing up work, but usually you guys are done by 5 or 6.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, so the office buildings will be a little more toned down, but the retail should be there as long as they need to. So.
And Kim's got that space for my Trader Joe's up there reserved already, so we're going to pull that one off.
It could happen. you put something like this in.
Yeah.
We could be out of move from the no of Trader Joe to a maybe. Let's look at it.
We are working on that too. So
I think you could say we're already in the maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Great. That's great.
That's awesome.
good things happening. So, any questions that we didn't talk
I'm going to
about?
applaud this whole thing.
Thank you. No, we are.
It's going to be a lot of work.
So that means we're going to become better acquainted.
And indeed, you will get sick of me.
There's some real challenges, though, if you think about this. When we originally started into this thing with Ted Heap, we were talking warehouses, which are
Who was? Hey, what was
yeah.
that?
You guys approved that, or you were on that path. So it was warehouses with not a lot of people and taking up a lot of space. We've flopped that now. So now we're going to have a lot of nicer buildings, which I would rather see these up here than I would warehouses, but we got a lot of people with it. And that changes a lot of stuff, both sewer and resources. So that's another thing. It's a big boat. Another motel. I mean, if I look at a nice motel up there, which I'm hoping, hotel or motel, it doesn't matter. I just
We don't want Mo's, we want hose.
I just want the other one gone is what I'm saying. If we can give them some competition, hopefully we could put them out of business. So that's the whole point. You know, and that's still in the works as well. We haven't stopped on anything up there.
Great.
Still all going.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
you.
you.
See
Thank you
you.
for
That was a
coming
good
in. Thanks for taking the time this evening. Very good. Keeping this all secret.
There's not very many times you actually leave this meeting with like some euphoric feeling.
Applause. It never happens.
Usually they're
owns that when I was asking all those
chewed me
questions.
out or
That's why.
called me a rogue councilman.
Oh, gee. Well, you are. Okay. Thank you very much for that. We'll move on to comments. Are there any comments from the RDA board for this meeting? City staff?
Nothing more from us.
Okay, I don't have any either. So we would need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. And all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned.